Hi Dad, I'm just going to answer your question. Now, this is only a small plant. You can see, there's my hand. You can see how small it is. It's a regular tomato plant. Now, the stem's really thick, whereas normally if you're growing it like you growed, it wouldn't be as thick as that. You can't tell on my phone, but it has a thick stem. The root system in this great big pot, it's only a socket, it's full of roots. And what's happening is it's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger, whereas a normal hydroponic tomato plant, you're only using the bottom primary roots. You're not using any secondary roots hardly. You might use maybe a couple of inches, but mainly you get these long roots coming down. So your tomato plant would always be thin. The main stem would be thin. You'd get tomatoes on there, but you'll find out if you can bury that stem, you'll get a lot more roots and you'll get a lot more flowers and a lot more tomatoes. So in my opinion, would it be quicker? Well, this is, as you can see, it's a small tomato plant. I know, bearing it how I did, that I would get, if it was the same size pot, a normal pot, and people planted it normally, I'm going to get a lot more tomatoes on here, a lot more trusses, as we call them. So you get your first truss here. I've already removed 2 or 3 which would have been buried in there, because I know these tomatoes are going to be full-size tomatoes, and it's only that far off the top of my container, my telescopic pot. And the next truss, which is full, you can see, is there, which is only there. It's growing, and then the next one is 2 or 3 inches. There's another truss coming there. So you can see how many flowers are coming on there, full-size tomatoes, and how close they are together. And it's all because of the root system. Now, I've proved to, I know it works, because I didn't know initially how. It's just how I've been taught by my parents and their parents and so on, and nobody else does this. I've seen people when they first plant a tomato plant, bury it a little bit deeper to get a few more secondary roots, but I do it right at the bottom of the pot. So if I was you or your mum, I would love how you've got these net pots. I think you use net pots, don't you? I would get a normal size pot somehow, drill some holes in the bottom of it so it's a bit like a net pot, and plant it right deep down at the bottom like you normally drop it in a net pot. And then as it grows, keep burying that stem a little bit so you get a nice size pot, and compare that to how you grow all the other ones. I don't know if you could actually somehow get a decent sized pot to fit your hydroponic system, just to try just one tomato plant, and I'm sure you'll see a big difference. I'm sure if you can bury that stem more, you'll get more tomatoes. And just start lower down, just keep removing any flowers or foliage what get covered, and it'll work. I mean, this tomato plant here isn't very big, but it's going to have a lot of tomatoes on it, and you can imagine that being 6 foot tall. It'll be rammed full of tomatoes. So yeah, I mean, for me, how I grow them, you would get more tomatoes. And even if it was a bit colder, because I've got such a deep root system, it wouldn't affect the plant so much, so it'd put up with cold for a few days. But to try it out, if you can get a decent sized pot, so make it a bit like a net pot by drilling a few holes in, put your young tomato plant in, just right at the bottom how you'd normally plant it in your net cup, but as it grows, keep topping up with clay balls or wherever medium you use. Cover that middle stem up, the main stem up, and get a lot more roots, and you'll see a difference in that one plant compared to all the others. I mean, I'd love for you to have a go at it and then see what happens. Or the other way you could do it is, if you've got a big pot, what you normally plant your tomatoes in, if you've got 2 pots, you or your mum or wherever get 2 pots. Now fill it full of your normal medium and plant your tomato in one how you'd normally plant it, and in the other one just put 2 or 3 inches in the bottom of your pot and put your tomato plant in there and let it grow. So you've got one growing normally how you'd plant it a few inches down, 3, 4, 5 inches down, and let that grow, and then grow another one how I would advise you to grow it. So just put some 2 or 3 inches of compost, medium, wherever you use, in the bottom, plant your tomato in there, and as it grows remove any branches and leaves and keep covering that middle stem up, and then keep doing that until it pops out the top like I've done with this one, and cover it until it gets to the top, and that's full with your growing medium compost or wherever, and then let that grow next to the one what you'd plant normally, and see the difference, and you'll see a lot more tomatoes and a lot more flowers, a lot more tomatoes, a big thick stem eventually. I mean, this stem's going to be like, I promise you, it'll be like a tree trunk by the time it's finished. Trouble is, I've only got to the top of my grow tent, which is only a 6-foot grow tent, but it's going to be full of tomatoes by then. I've had no trouble with this plant, where a lot of people have trouble with growing in grow tents. I would rather not grow in a grow tent, but I'm having no trouble whatsoever because it's got a really good root system, and that really does help. But yeah, so if you can't make your own sort of, get a big pot and make it look next to your other net pots, and try grow one like I grown it, covering the main stem up, then just try 2 pots. Get 2 big pots, and they've got a hell of a lot more room than me. 2 pots the same, grow one normally, so dig a hole, put your tomato plant in, let it grow, and then grow one like I would grow it, but just put a little bit of your compost or whatever you want to use, growing medium in the bottom, and then plant it there so it's at the bottom of your pot, but you've still got a bit 2 or 3 inches in the bottom for your main roots to grow, and then as it grows up just keep putting some more compost or cocoa or whatever you want to use in there, and then as it grows up even more keep removing leaves, and then eventually it'll come out the top, and level the compost up or cocoa on there, and the other one in the other pot, planted normal, will be a lot taller, but just wait to see what happens. You'll get more tomatoes on when it's about 2 or 3 foot tall on this, and if that one was 7 foot tall. Alright then, Devon, I'll speak to you soon, and just let me know what you think. I hope I don't make it sound really confusing, but yeah, okay, thank you, hope to speak to you soon. Bye.